Let me say this clearly. If you're starting from zero in 2026, then you're not too late. You're not behind and you're not incapable. The internet just got a lot noisier. Passive income has been misunderstood. Getting rich quick advice is broken, and most of what you're being told about making money online right now would actively hurt you if you followed it step by step. They're not trying to mislead you, they're just giving you incomplete information. I've spent the last few years studying what actually scales online, building systems, testing models, and watching what compounds and what collapses. And the uncomfortable truth is, most people aren't failing at making money online. They're building systems that reset to zero. They grind for views, they chase trends, they launch things that depend entirely on them showing up every single day. And the moment they stop, everything else stops. They have no leverage whatsoever. No compounding effect, no stacking effect, just relentless effort. So in this video, I'm going to show you what actually makes money online in 2026. This is step by step and it actually works. In fact, if you do it right now, it practically prints money. And once you see it, you won't look at making money online the same way ever again. Now quickly, just before we get started, if you haven't already, then go and grab a free copy of my affiliate starter pack. It gives you everything you need to start putting what you learned today into action fast. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. That way you never miss an upload. Okay, so let's start by removing the emotion from this for a second, because this isn't a motivation problem, it's a numbers problem. Most beginners walk straight into what I call the pennies trap. They're told to pick a niche from a top 10 list, something like health, wealth, AI, crypto, fitness, or productivity. Then they grab an affiliate product that pays $5 per commission, and they're told to simply go and drive traffic to their link. So let's actually run the numbers on that. Let's say you want to make $5,000 a month. Now I know there's plenty of you watching this who want to earn a lot more than that, and that's absolutely fine. It's totally doable, but everyone needs to start somewhere, and 5K a month is a pretty good starting place, as it's usually enough for someone to ditch their 9 to 5 and focus solely on expanding their affiliate empire. Okay, so let's say the product you're promoting pays $5 per sale. That means to hit your 5K a month, you need 1,000 sales. That's not clicks, not visitors, 1,000 sales every single month. Now let's be generous and say your funnel converts at 2%. That means for every 100 people who visit your link, 2 of them buy. So to get to those 1,000 sales at a 2% conversion rate, you would need 50,000 targeted visitors every single month. 50,000. That is a lot of traffic, especially if you're just starting out. Because if your content gets a 5% click-through rate, then you'd need 1 million impressions to generate that traffic. 1 million, just to make $5,000. So obviously, this is where people quietly break. They think they're bad at content, they think they're bad at YouTube, or they think that they've been shadow banned. But the truth is, the model was broken long before they ever hit upload. So what happens if we flip it? Let's take that same $5,000 a month goal, but this time, instead of $5 per commission, you promote something that pays you $500 for every sale. Now you only need 10 sales, just 10, and you hit that 5K a month goal. At the same 2% conversion rate, you would only need 500 visitors, not 50,000, just 500. At a 5% click-through rate, that's 10,000 impressions, not 1 million, just 10,000 impressions every single month. That's 100 times difference in the required attention. That is all. Nothing about you changed, your skill didn't change, your work ethic didn't change, you didn't have to upgrade all of your kit. Only the commission structure changed. This is why top 10 niche advice fails most people in 2026, because those niches are built for scale, not precision. They assume you already have massive traffic. They assume you already have authority amongst your audience, and they assume that you can survive months of earning almost nothing while you build up momentum. That is fine if you have capital and a large audience, in which case picking a top 10 trending niche works really well and will earn you a lot of money. But it's brutal if you're starting from zero like most people are. So let me say something clearly. If your plan requires massive traffic before you make any money, you didn't fail, but the plan did. Low ticket creates high pressure. So to make it work, you need volume, you need virality, and you need algorithm luck. Now, I know I say there's no such thing as luck, and we make our own luck through skill and hard work, but when it comes to the algorithm, there is a certain amount of luck involved. You still need to work hard and be consistent and put out high quality content, but where the luck comes into it is how long it takes for the algorithm to actually pick up your content and push it out to more people. Now, for some people, it might take a few weeks or a few months, but others, it might take a few years. Logan Paul already had a big following on Vine before joining YouTube, but it still took him 3 years of posting before he started to gain real traction. Mr. Beast had 5 years of grinding out content before any real virality. In fact, for most YouTubers who have reached that overnight success stage, where they go from starting to gain some traction to practically everything they post going viral, takes an average of 5 to 8 years. So if your plan is to promote low ticket products that earn you low commissions, then unless you already have a large engaged audience, then you best be prepared to grind away at content for at least 5 years before you start seeing any big returns. This is why, especially at the start of your journey, high ticket wins, because high ticket proximity creates low pressure. You need fewer buyers, fewer conversions, and far less traffic, but more focus. Low ticket equals high pressure, but high ticket proximity equals low pressure. And ultimately, pressure is what makes people quit. But here's the nuance that most people miss. High ticket alone is not the answer, because if you just jump into a random high ticket niche that's already saturated, then you're back in the same battlefield. The real opportunity in 2026 isn't expensive products, it's finding the gap between desperate problems and underserved solutions. That's what changes the equation, and that's exactly what we're going to look at next. Okay, so here's the part that most people still don't understand. The model didn't just get harder, the environment changed massively. In 2026, AI is flooding the internet. Not just a little, completely flooding it. Every niche you can think of now has AI blog posts, AI YouTube scripts, AI TikTok videos, AI listicles, AI top 10 guides, and AI comparison reviews. If you search for almost anything like best supplements, best side hustles, best affiliate niches, you're more often than not reading content that was generated in seconds by AI, which means something important. Information is no longer valuable, at least not the same way that it was a few years ago. At the moment, it's everywhere, it's abundant, and it's instant. So if your strategy is just I'll make better informational content, then you're competing against a machine that can produce 10,000 similar pieces of content every single day. Now, you don't need to beat AI, you just need to stop competing where AI has already won. AI wins in generic, it wins in broad, and it wins in best niches, how to start, and top 10 ways. That battlefield is done. And this is where most people panic. They think, well, if AI can create content, then what chance do I have? But this is actually the biggest opportunity shift that we've seen in years, because while information became abundant, clarity, specificity, and trust became rare. And right now, trust matters a lot more than reach. Let that sink in. Now, for years, reach was king. More views, more followers, more impressions. The bigger your reach was, the more money you would earn. But now, well, things are different. Reach without trust doesn't convert. You can get 100,000 views and still make absolutely nothing. But even 5,000 targeted views, and that builds real income. Because conversion is now more valuable than traffic. That's the shift. Traffic used to be the game. Now, precision is the game. This is where humans still win. AI wins at generic niches, broad advice, and surface level education. But humans win at specific problems, lived experiences, nuanced solutions, and context. Because a human who has actually struggled with something and solved it has something that AI can't replicate, and that's emotional pattern recognition. That's the leverage. And here's the strategic shift for you. In 2026, you don't just build a brand around information. You build around problem proximity. You don't compete to teach everything. You compete to understand something deeply and pass that on to your audience. And you don't aim for most views. You aim to be the most relevant, because when you're specific enough, the algorithm doesn't have to guess who to show your content to because it already knows. And when your content reaches the right person at the right time, then you don't need massive traffic to make money. You just need alignment. This is why the old advice feels broken, because it was built for an attention scarce world. We now live in a clarity scarce world, and the people who win in 2026 are not the loudest, they're the clearest. So the question becomes, how do you actually find those high clarity, high leverage opportunities, and how do you know where humans still dominate? Because this is where the real filter begins. And this next part is where everything shifts from theory to execution, from idea to money. So let's stop talking about what's broken and let me show you what actually works. I call this the conversion first model. And if you understand this properly, then you stop gambling on attention and start building something that actually compounds. So here's the core idea. Attention is rented, but conversions are owned. And compounding beats restarting every single time. Most creators build their business backwards. They focus on content first, they obsess over thumbnails, they obsess over views, and they obsess over impressions. Forever just refreshing the dashboard and hoping for a miracle. But if you don't capture attention, then you're just renting your business from the algorithm. And rented businesses are fragile. One algorithm tweak, one platform change, one steep drop in reach, and you're back to zero, starting all over again completely from scratch. That's not a viable business, that's constant stress. But the conversion first model flips it completely. Instead of constantly chasing traffic and hoping that it converts, you build a system that turns attention into assets. So here's the simple flow. Problem to proof to capture to compounding. First, you speak to a specific problem, not broad, not generic, and not how to make money. Be specific. Then second, you show proof. That doesn't mean flexing income screenshots, it means demonstrating understanding. And when someone feels understood, they lean in. And third, this is the part that most people skip. You capture. Content alone doesn't build a business. Capture does. Whether that's an email, a DM, a conversation, or someone downloading your lead magnet. Something that moves the relationship off the algorithm and into your control. Once someone's in your ecosystem, now they're no longer dependent on whether YouTube shows your next video to them or not. You can follow up, you can build trust, you can refine your positioning, you can compound, and compounding? Well, that's where the real income starts, because every piece of content that you create doesn't chase views, it feeds the system. Every email grows the list, every conversion builds proof, and every bit of proof increases trust, and trust increases conversions. That's the leverage. Most people try to scale attention, but the smarter move is to scale conversion, because 500 targeted people inside a captured ecosystem is far more valuable than 50,000 random viewers who disappear tomorrow. And this is where it gets even more powerful. When your system captures and compounds, you stop restarting over. And once you stop restarting, the math starts working in your favor. Now the question becomes, how do you actually execute this starting from zero? Well, I'll show you. All right, so now we execute. First, we start with a buyer problem. This is important because it's where almost everyone goes completely wrong. They start with a niche. Fitness, finance, AI, self-development, that sort of thing. But the thing is, niches don't pay. Problems pay. No one wakes up and thinks, I'd love to buy something in the productivity niche today. They wake up thinking, I desperately need more clients. I feel exhausted and burnt out. My business is stuck at 3K a month. I can't focus. I feel anxious. I need to lose 10 pounds. My ads aren't converting. My team won't adopt AI. I don't know how to get consistent leads. That's what people pay to solve. Problems. So instead of asking, what niche should I pick? Ask what problems are people already paying to solve, not complaining about, actively paying for. That distinction really matters because people complain about a lot of things, but they only pay to remove pressure. So here's what I want you to do. Open a notes app or grab a notebook and write down 10 problems that people are already spending money to fix right now. That's 10, just 10. Not ideas, not trends, problems. You want to look at coaching programs, therapists, gyms, software tools, medical clinics, business consultants, career advisors. You want to look where the money is already flowing because you don't invent demand, you find it. And once you start thinking in problems instead of niches, clarity starts to appear. Instead of health, you get women over 40 struggling with hormonal weight gain. Instead of business, you get agency owners stuck at under 5K a month. And instead of mindset, you get high performers burning out despite hitting revenue goals. Now you're not broad, you're specific. And specificity converts. So that's step one. Now, step two is where most people misunderstand high ticket. You don't need to sell high ticket, you just need to stand next to it. That's the move. Let's say the problem is I need more clients. Well, for that, there are high ticket solutions everywhere. Consultants, coaches, software, lead generation services, funnels, CRMs. But if the problem is I'm exhausted and burnt out, well, there's high ticket solutions that exist for that as well. Private coaching, wellness programs, diagnostics, premium supplements, wellness retreats. And if the problem is my business is stuck at 3K a month, well, then there are masterminds, high-level courses, done-for-you services, SaaS platforms charging hundreds of dollars per month. You don't have to create any of these, you just need to align yourself with them. So here's the practical step. Take one of your problems from step one, open Google and search for companies that are already solving it. Pick 3 of them, scroll to the footer and click affiliates or affiliate program. You'd be shocked at just how many companies have affiliate programs. People assume affiliate marketing is Amazon links and $3 commissions, or you have to find something on ClickBank and compete with everyone else trying to do exactly the same. That is the pennies trap again. High ticket proximity means you align yourself with expensive proven solutions that are already converting. Now, instead of fighting for pennies in crowded niches, you're positioned next to real outcomes. So here's what changes. When someone solves a $3,000 problem or a $5,000 problem, a $500 commission isn't crazy. It's proportional to the problem being solved. That's leverage. You don't need thousands of buyers, you just need alignment with buyers who are already serious. Okay, now step 3 is to test the math. Before you promote anything, and I mean anything, you need to run this one calculation. Income goal divided by commission equals the required number of sales. That is it. Remove emotion completely. Ignore any hype and no, but I really like this niche. Just the numbers. If your goal is $5,000 a month and the commission is $5 per sale, then you would need 1,000 sales. If the commission is $500 a sale, then you would only need 10 sales just to hit that same number. Now, here's the rule. Don't argue with the number. If the required sales feel overwhelming, then the model is wrong. It's as simple as that. Not you, the model. Most beginners make decisions based on excitement. Like, this product looks cool, this niche is trending, this influencer says this product is hot right now. But none of that matters, only the math matters. Because the math doesn't care about your motivation or your aesthetics, and it definitely doesn't care how passionate you are. The math cares about whether it scales or whether it doesn't. So every time you evaluate an offer, you need to run the filter. Income goal divided by commission. If the number demands massive traffic before you ever start earning anything meaningful, then reject it. But if the number feels tight, controlled, and achievable, then lean into it. This one calculation will protect you from years of wasted effort. It removes fantasy, it removes guesswork, and it replaces all of it with clarity. So if the number scares you, then the model is wrong. It's as simple as that. But it's powerful, and quite honestly, it's why so many people starting affiliate marketing never manage to actually quit their 9 to 5. They just never ran the numbers and realized just how many sales they would actually need in order to make any money. Okay, now step 4 is where execution separates the amateurs from the operators. Most beginners think I need to teach everything. They try to sound comprehensive or smart, and they try to explain every single concept perfectly. But there's been a shift. In 2026, information is everywhere. AI can explain almost anything, but what it can't do is convincingly demonstrate judgment. That is your edge. This video is called What Actually Makes Money Online in 2026. But notice something. It's not just listing tactics. I'm showing you how I filter, how I evaluate, how I reject, and how I decide. That's what builds authority. Authority isn't knowing the most, it's thinking the clearest. So yes, you can make videos with broad titles, but inside those videos, don't just teach concepts. Show your decision making. Instead of saying, here's how affiliate marketing works, say, here's why I stopped promoting low ticket offers. Or here's the niche I almost chose and why I didn't. Now you're not just teaching, you're also documenting. And documenting builds trust a lot faster than generic explanations ever will. So here's the simple structure that you need to follow. Start with a real problem, explain what most advice says to do, then explain what you tested instead, show what happened, and then explain what you're doing next. That is it. When people watch you make rational, disciplined decisions, they don't just learn from you, they start to follow you, because now you're not competing with all of the AI explanations, you're demonstrating judgment, and judgment is what converts. So here's your actionable step. After this video, create one piece of content built around a real decision. It doesn't need to have massive production value, just something simple like you behind your desk, maybe a whiteboard, or a quick screen recording. Walk through a real choice that you made, why you rejected one path, why you leaned into another, and what the numbers actually showed in the end. And then what you're doing next. That alone will put you ahead of most beginner creators, because most are still repeating generic advice that already exists in 10,000 other AI examples. But you'll be building authority through clarity, and clarity is the asset. Okay, so let me zoom this out for just a second. If you start with real problems, stand next to high-ticket solutions, run the math honestly, and build proof-based content that captures attention into an owned system, then you stop restarting over every single time, and when you stop restarting, the compounding begins. And once the compounding begins, this stops feeling random and starts feeling inevitable. Now, in the final section, I'm going to show you how to tie all of this together into a simple 30-day execution roadmap, because clarity without action is just entertainment. And we're not here for entertainment, we're here for leverage. Okay, so let's make this practical, because clarity without movement turns into procrastination. You don't need a 90-day master plan, you just need 7 focused days. 7 days of not restarting over every single time. So day 1, pick a problem. Not 3, not 10, just one problem. The one that feels the most real, the one that you understand completely, and most importantly, the one that people are already paying to solve. Then you need to commit to it. Not forever, just long enough to be able to test it properly. Day 2, you need to find 3 offers serving that problem. These need to be real companies, not sketchy here today, gone tomorrow companies. There needs to be real pricing and real commissions. Don't just guess, don't assume, check the affiliate page, check the commission structure, and run the math yourself. Because if the numbers don't make sense, then reject it immediately because it's not worth your time. Day 3, you need to study your competitors. Not to copy them, just to understand their positioning. What are they saying? What are they not saying? Where are they being generic? And where can you be clearer than they are? Because clarity is your leverage. Day 4, you need to create one proof-based piece of content. It doesn't have to be perfect, just one real decision story. Like I said before, just shoot it with you behind your desk, walk through the thought process, and explain what you're testing and why you're testing it. You're not trying to go viral, you're just starting to build a signal. Day 5, create one simple free resource. This could be a checklist, a template, a framework, or a starter pack, whatever. But it needs to have some substance to it though. Something useful enough and with enough value that someone would exchange their email for it. Because remember, attention is rented, but conversions are owned. So day 6, you need to post the content. Invite people to interact, ask for their opinions, ask for their feedback, and start conversations with them. This isn't about blasting links everywhere, it's about building proximity. And finally, day 7, you want to refine everything. Don't restart, because this is where most people fail. They post once, they don't explode or go viral, they panic and then they pivot. Don't do it. Don't restart, just adjust. You adjust your headlines, your positioning, you clarify the problem, and you sharpen your offer, because progress comes from staying and not restarting. The people who win online aren't necessarily the most talented, they're the ones who stay long enough for the compounding effect to actually properly kick in. Now, it's important to remember that 7 days will not make you rich, but 7 days of disciplined execution will move you out of theory and into momentum, and momentum changes identity. So when you stop restarting, you stop feeling like a beginner, and once that shift happens, everything starts to accelerate. Okay, so let me close this for you. If you're starting from 0, then that is not a disadvantage, it's actually clearer. Because you don't have old habits to unlearn, you don't have a broken model that you're emotionally attached to, you don't have 10 half-finished ideas all pulling you in different directions. You get to build this properly from day 1. And the truth is, this works. Not because you got lucky, not because you found some sort of secret loophole, but because you finally stopped chasing shortcuts and started building something that actually compounds. And the best thing about this is, it's really simple. You start with a real problem, you stand next to offers that already solve it, you run the math like a pro, you create proof-based content that actually builds trust, and you capture attention into something that you own. That is the game. And if you do that consistently, then you stop feeling like you're gambling with your future and you start feeling in control. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Drop a comment below with the problem that you want to solve and the niche that you're thinking about, and I'll help you run it through the filter. And if you want to go ahead and download my free affiliate starter pack, get it from the link in the description. It's got the funnel template, the email sequence, and the setup guide, so you can actually implement this fast instead of hitting a roadblock. And if you got value from this, then subscribe to the channel, because this is what we do here. Most people will watch this and they'll just move on. But if you act on it, then you're going to look back in a few months and realize this video changed everything for you.